Now, once you've got your class all set up with pictures, just the way you like it, you're going to head to the gradebook, and you can see on my screen up the top that I've selected gradebook, and you're going to start adding tabs and columns. So on the right hand side are the tabs, and you can think of them like pages of assessment data, and the columns are where you actually select which assessment data you'll be entering. So on the right hand side you can see the default tab is green. I'm going to tap on the plus button above that to add a new one. I'll give it a label. And the red square is where you can change the colour if you want to colour code your tabs. And you can see it's there on the right hand side. Tap on that. Now I need to add columns. So up the top right is a plus sign with a circle around it. Tap on that. Add column. And I'm going to give the column a header. If I just hide the keyboard, you can see the other options you have for the column, such as a subheader, date. If I just tap on date, you could have it automatically include in the header today's date, yesterday's date, so on. I don't need that for mine, so I'm going to tap on none. The cell editor and grade type, which in the future you will be using. For the basics, we don't need it, but I will go into depth in that later. Color and width, again, you can color code your columns if you like. Date in cell. Now you can have each cell automatically tagged with the day's date on which it was edited, which you might find is really handy information further down the track, especially if you want to know when an assessment was made. So I'm going to tap on show. Then I'm going to tap on save up the top right hand side, and there's my column. I'm going to add just a couple more. Now instead of tapping the plus sign on the right hand side, my other option, the other way to do it, is to tap and hold in the empty space where the columns belong and tap on add column. Save that one, maybe one more. Okay, now I've got my grid set up the way I like it. Now, anything you want to edit in iDoceo, just always remember to double tap. So I'll go to an empty cell now, that first one, and double tap it. And the cell editor has come up. You can see that there's an option to add text to the cell. And icons as well. So I might tap on a minus sign there and then tap on OK. And there it is. If I double tap on the cell next to it, sometimes you can use just icons or just text, depending on how you want to do it. There we are. Now I'll move down to student 2. If I just double tap on that cell to bring up the editor again, I'd like to show you in the bottom left hand side of the editor, there's a rectangle with a circle in it. Let me tap on that. I'm going to change it to the rectangle with a right hand arrow coming out of it. And this just tells the editor what to do after you've pressed OK. So if I just tick that cell and press OK, it automatically moves to the cell on the right and brings up the editor. That's just one of those things that's going to save you a couple of seconds here and there, which will really add up as you go through and you're assessing for a whole class, for a whole heap of data. Okay, now that's the basics of Gradebook, and that's really enough to get started. As I said earlier, you can really go in depth here, and you can go down one of hundreds of paths in the way you set this up. So in level 2 of this series, I'm going to go into a bit more detail about how you can set this up and really take it further, make it more useful for yourself. Stay tuned for that one, but in the next video, we're going to look at backing up your data. Okay.